What if I told you the Warriors might be gearing up to land a superstar who could take them back to championship glory? That's right. The Heat are now willing to negotiate for their disgruntled star, and the Warriors have the assets to make a deal happen. With their wealth of picks and players who can make an immediate impact, we could be witnessing the dawn of a new era for Golden State. Don't miss out on the unfolding drama. Hit that subscribe button and like this video to stay in the loop. With every twist and turn, the Golden State Warriors are back in the mix for Jimmy Butler, and it's about time. According to Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer, the Miami Heat have lowered their asking price for the six-time All-Star, which opens the door for the Warriors to potentially land a superstar who could elevate their playoff aspirations. After Butler's recent indefinite suspension for walking out of a shoot-around, the Heat seem more motivated than ever to facilitate a trade, and that could spell opportunity for the Warriors. Brian Windhorst from ESPN confirmed that the Heat are looking to move Butler and are willing to make concessions from their initial demands. This is a pivotal moment. Miami wants to avoid taking back hefty contracts unless they receive compelling draft compensation. They're clearly focused on securing players who can contribute immediately to their playoff push. The Warriors have the assets to meet those needs, including 3 first-round picks, pick swaps, and expiring contracts that can help Miami balance their roster. But let's be real here. The Warriors previously hesitated to trade players like Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga because they saw potential in keeping their core intact. There were concerns about Butler's age and injury history impacting the team's long-term strategy. But now, as we look at this evolving situation, could Butler be the missing piece the Warriors need? Stephen Curry has even voiced caution against making desperate moves that could jeopardize the franchise's future. But as the stakes rise, the allure of adding a player of Butler's caliber to a team that already has championship pedigree is hard to ignore. The landscape is changing rapidly. The Suns were thought to be the frontrunners for Butler, but issues with Bradley Beal's no-trade clause might have them out of the equation. Windhorst hinted that other teams, possibly even the Warriors, could swoop in and secure Butler at a bargain price. Imagine if the Warriors managed to pull this off, adding a player who can dominate in playoff scenarios while maintaining their draft capital. That's not just a trade, that's a statement. Warriors fans, I know there's a lot of emotion wrapped up in this. We've seen the team navigate ups and downs over the years, but the prospect of adding a player like Butler could significantly change the narrative for this season. But do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, Butler's two-way play could elevate the Warriors to new heights, making them a formidable playoff contender. On the other hand, I worry about the long-term implications of bringing in a player with such a checkered injury history. What does this mean for the Warriors' future? If they can land Butler without sacrificing too much of their core, it could set them up for another deep playoff run. The chemistry between Butler, Curry, and Klay Thompson could be electric. But the question remains, will the front office pull the trigger and make this happen? The clock is ticking, and the pressure is mounting. The Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads. With a record of 22-23 and sitting at 11th in the Western Conference, the urgency for a strategic move couldn't be clearer. Fans, we know that the front office is hesitant to make a big splash right now, opting instead to play the long game. But let's be real, deferring another season of Steph Curry's career is a risky gamble, especially when the playoffs are hanging in the balance. One name that's been floated around as a potential target is Nikola Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls. Now, in theory, Vucevic could be a game-changer for the Warriors. He brings that stretch center dynamic that perfectly complements Curry's playstyle. Imagine the spacing and opportunities that could open up with Vucevic in the front court, alleviating some of the pressure off our already battered roster. But here's where it gets tricky. The Warriors are reportedly lowballing the Bulls with offers of only second-round picks, while Chicago is holding out for a first-round selection. Honestly, I'm torn on this. On one hand, I completely understand the Warriors' reluctance to part with a first-round pick. It's a valuable asset, especially in a league that's always evolving. But on the other hand, if the front office continues to drag its feet, we could be staring down the barrel of a missed postseason. And think about the implications of that. It's not just about the playoffs, It's about Steph Curry's legacy. If this team fails to make meaningful moves and ends up out of the playoff picture, how would that affect Curry's mindset? He's made it clear he wants to compete for championships. As we approach the trade deadline, the stakes are incredibly high. You have to wonder how this lowballing strategy is going to play out. If the Bulls don't budge on their asking price, and the Warriors stand pat, we could be left with a roster that's not equipped to handle the rigors of a playoff chase. It's a precarious position to be in, and one that could have long-lasting effects on the team's chemistry and morale. Imagine the worst-case scenario: no trade, no playoff berth, and a frustrated superstar in Curry. That's a nightmare for any Warriors fan to contemplate. The front office must weigh these decisions carefully. Sure, there's a chance the Bulls might come around and accept a couple of second-round picks, but that's a risk that could backfire spectacularly. So, what does this mean for the future? If the Warriors miss out on Vucevic or another significant player at the deadline, how will that impact the offseason? Will they have to scramble to make up for lost opportunities? It's a delicate balance between planning for the future and seizing the moment with a seasoned player like Curry still in his prime. And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Are the Warriors making a mistake by lowballing on Vucevic? Or do you think they're wise to hold their cards close, hoping for a bigger prize down the road? This is a conversation we need to have as passionate fans of this team. The clock is ticking, and the trade deadline is just around the corner. We all want to see this team not just make the playoffs, but compete for a championship. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. I'll be here breaking down every move and every rumor, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to keep the conversation going. Together, let's navigate these turbulent waters as loyal fans of the Golden State Warriors.